And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gym in the Crypto episode 285. Today is and I got it playing in the background so you can hear it. Today is Wednesday, or November 14th, 2018. I'm King.
And I'm Bitcoin Zay. And we're here to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency and the community Monday through Friday at 10-ish.
And today we have a very special guest for you. We told you we were going to have a special guest this week. We got a chance to meet him at Real CryptoCon. I want to give a shout out to Minho Donahue as well as Shinobi, because they were two of the people for like the last 8 months, this entire year. They was like, hey man, you guys need to find link up with Cryptoblood and everything. We finally had a chance to link. So I just want to give him a quick introduction. His name is Cryptoblood, and that's because cryptocurrencies run through his blood. That's been his
I'm not a blood, people. I'm not a blood.
At Real CryptoCon, I had to ask him on the side. I was like, hey, man, you out here? What's going on?
Yeah, you ain't the only one.
But Cryptoblood has been in Bitcoin since late 2012. Partially the reason why, of course, he got that name in June of 2014. That's when he got the full name, Cryptoblood. He said the rest has been history. He has a technical background in computer science with a concentration in software engineering. He's a former FX/futures trader, co-founding a CTA commodity trading advisor company in 2006. His finance has always been a passion of his. It only makes sense as to why he is now in the cryptocurrency, where he's bringing both worlds of computer science and finance together. This is what he does 24/7. If you have not already checked out his YouTube, make sure you do it when you get done with us today. Without further ado, introducing Cryptoblood.
Cryptoblood. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, though?
Hey, welcome to the show, and thanks for being here. We truly appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now I'm gonna have you guys on next month. So we hopefully, you know, the crypto game changes every day. So we should have definitely something to talk about by then.
Of course, we always talk about it. It's always good to you know, Cryptoblood is one of the people, you know, as soon as we spoke to him at the conference, you instantly know this guy knows what he's talking about. He doesn't BS like us, which is why we love him. And he comes with factual information and experience, again, not just trading cryptocurrencies for the last few years, but also trading in the FX market. So real quick, I want to give a shout out. What's going on, Allison Thompson, Crypto Q, Crypto Crackhead, GODTV, Antonio. Oh, Antonio back in the UK. What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on?
Crypto Warriors. Torrent
I get a lot of love in the UK.
Yeah, Crystal White. Oh, Crystal White is from Detroit too. What up, though?
Look,
we're about to
go ahead and do this.
We're out everywhere.
Hey, there we go. I got the listen. I got the listen, people. There's a celebration today. We are celebrating Cryptoblood being here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I just slightly tapped it, but it's popping out.
Pop that bottle.
Listen, I'm pro. I came with the towel, people.
That's how we do in the D, people.
That's how we do. We are celebrating a few things. Of course, as Bitcoins, they said we are unable to make tour to crypto yesterday, or excuse me, Monday when they came into town. Again, there's a lot of forest fires you all been hearing about going on here. There's ambulances everywhere. So that was going to be about a 3.5, 4 hour trip for us, round trip. So we had to pass on that, but we still are popping champagne. Cryptoblood has a cigar. This is for Tour to Crypto, of course. Blake Rizzo and all those folks, they did a great job with that, helping the Houston Women's Shelter. So let's pour up a drink for them first of all.
Shout out to y'all.
Shout out to you all over there.
Oh yeah.
I don't drink. I just smoke cigar, so I'll be posting this.
We all celebrate at the same time.
All right. So everybody giving you shout outs over here on our chat. So I hope you can see the chat right now, Cryptoblood. But without further ado, we know what people want to talk about, what's on everybody's mind right now. So let's get straight into it. The price of Bitcoin, they're saying, is at the lowest it's been in 12 months. For those who don't know, CBOE futures just expired today, which of course has a lot to do with that price, because you remember CBOE, CME, their CEOs came in and said they were going to quote unquote tame the market. They've been trying to. Cryptoblood, go ahead and start us off, man. What's going on with this situation? What are your thoughts?
So I'm actually of the opposite opinion. I don't think the CBOE has that much of an influence on the price of Bitcoin, simply because of the if you track the volume or the number of contracts being traded on the CBOE, it just isn't reflective of anything tangible, in my opinion, with regards to that. But I think those mechanisms are definitely there for the future to definitely manipulate the price of Bitcoin, especially if they ever start to allow it to be settled in Bitcoin. See, the contracts right now are only settled in cash.
Right.
So there is no need to actually go get real spot Bitcoin to cover any of the contracts on the exchange. So as of right now, I don't see a major correlation, and actually the volume of the futures are near lows for the year as well. So it will be there though to manipulate in the future for sure. I think the price of Bitcoin is down right now because we got the Bitcoin Cash fork coming up. I think people are pricing that in. Normally markets are forward pricing, so we try to discount for the future, and I think that's why this pullback occurred today.
Yeah, I know. Bitcoin Zay, you hit on that yesterday too. You're talking about the Bcash fork coming up. I mean, that's a good point. That definitely, especially for traders, people trying to make some money on that volatility, because there's not a lot of volatility right now. We're flat. So what about you? Agree with that?
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned volume. We say that all the time. Whenever you're trading, price follows volume. And also, this sort of reminds me back in August last year. Remember when we first had the first Bcash split, and we had the huge dump, like $2,000 dump in about a matter of 3 days, and then bounce right back. This is kind of what it reminds me of. If we have panic down at the 5,000 levels, if we get a quick bounce back, just tell you, I reminded you, this is basically what happens when you have a hard fork or when you have people fighting.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, it sounds cliche, but this is a great opportunity to buy at these levels, because I think this is what we call a capitulation moment that a lot of us have been waiting for. I got a tweet before I got on. They were like, CB, is this your capitulation moment? I said, yeah, absolutely. So right here, somewhere in this range, you can never really time the bottoms, but I would say between 600 and 700 basis points here, give or take, we should be near a bottom. And so we'll build a base from here going into 2019. I think 19 is going to be strong.
Yeah, that's what we've been with that too. We were hoping, of course, 2018, the regulations was something we could not expect. And then, I mean, also looking at some of the trends from last year, previous years as well. We know going toward Thanksgiving, people sell. Going toward Christmas, people sell again. So we got to factor in those dips. People are about to buy those plane tickets, go home for the holidays and all that good stuff.
And this year is, I think, you're going to see tax harvesting. So people are going to be locking in those losses for 2019 and beyond to kind of hedge against their wins in 2019.
That's actually really big. You're right. Before this year, I didn't hear about any companies or people trying to account for those tax losses going into the following year. So you're right. That's a big deal right there. Yeah. Torrance J playlist is saying bottom is at 4.2.
Oh yeah,
K Bears.
Come on, Bears, come on out.
There we go.
What did you
say? You said 4,200 is the bottom.
That's possible.
We need Alex Daly back. He's our resident bear. He always keeps us in the loop.
Oh, he's a perma. We call them perma bears.
Yeah, perma bears. That's right.
Nah, it's all good. I mean, what when you've researched Cryptoblood, what's the lowest price it would cost for miners? When I was doing research, I saw it was around like 4,400. So that's to me is what miners losing money with Bitcoin. That's the sort of bottom. But
yeah, when did you check? When was the last time you checked? Because I haven't checked.
About 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. So that's fairly recent. Because with mining, you have your difficulty rates, right? And those always go up for the most part. And so yeah, I don't know, man. I thought it was around 6,000, to be honest with you. 60 is what I was hearing was 6,000, 6,600, but I don't know, man. I'm not in the mining game anymore. Kind of started my my foray into this whole game was in mining,
What were you mining first?
First coin I mined was actually Litecoin. It was the
altcoin. Bitcoin's A too.
So I started. So I started mining Litecoin at 55 cents, bro.
Yeah.
Woo! You all hear that? That's when you know you got a resident expert, folks.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
So,
well, hey, you know what? Speaking of mining Litecoin, then this is actually jump to our next story. It's kind of out of order, but we're talking about Lightning Network passes 4,000 nodes, reached all-time capacity high. And I know we were talking about earlier. It looks like Stellar Lumens is going to try to implement that as well, right?
Yeah,
Correct?
what do you guys think about Lightning Network? I've never really heard you guys talk about it, but I'm kind of new to your show myself. So
we support the Lightning Network as far as, you know, we hope it works. We got people that's testing it out on our team as well, and providing those channels that therefore, you know, hopefully if it does work and explodes, we're some of the first folks in that game. But
nice.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting. It looks like Stellar believes in it too, huh?
Yeah. So that's interesting. I like Stellar as a project. I don't like Ripple for various reasons. But Stellar, I think their ethos kind of aligns with, you know, cryptocurrency more so. So
you say you're not a huge fan of Lightning Network. You know, what are your thoughts on Stellar adopting it? And, you know, could this be something that works for Stellar in 2019? Are they going in the right direction with
it's going to work. It may work for Stellar. I don't think it's going to work for Bitcoin though. I don't see Lightning Network scaling.
Is that what? Okay, yeah.
Huh?
I was gonna say, is it a scaling issue?
Yeah. I've been watching this whole Lightning thing for about 4.5, 5 years, and so, you know, I've been hearing promises for 5 years about this Lightning. So many people may not know that, but they've been trying to do this for a while, and they're finally starting to make progress. But the issue that I have with adding these type of side chains and layers to a protocol is that, is Bitcoin too big to actually scale this to a usable place? In my opinion, I'm not too sure, you know. So when you add more layers, you add complexity and other security holes, and it's just, you know, I don't think they're going to be guts enough, the balls to really roll it out fully. I don't know. I could be wrong.
And we need CBDCs. Cool.
Yeah.
So what makes you think it might work for Stellar? Because they're doing it so early on the network before it scales.
Yes. And it's a different infrastructure. So they got one of the guys from the core Bitcoin core team helping them with the implementation. So I think they'll be able to scale it up. They said they're going to be ready by the end of this year.
Right. Yeah. So that's we'll see.
Yeah. So,
and I mean, it's also one of those things where, you know, we talk about trading as well, you know, we'll throw our 2 cents, but for those who look at Stellar, you know, we always say Stellar kind of follows the path of Ripple. If Ripple's going to pump, you can expect Stellar to pump 24 to 72 hours later, vice versa when it dumps. But it's one of those things where, if, you know, the Lightning Network does come out on Stellar end this year and it does work seamlessly, which probably won't happen initially, but, you know, let's say they get it going by next year, then Stellar might be a coin to watch coming into 2019 at 23 cents right now.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Next up, and it's crazy. As we talk right now, people, Bitcoin has already climbed up another $300. Looks like it's recovered about 4% so far. So we'll see what happens throughout the show. Bank of America wins patent for storing clients' crypto holdings in enterprise accounts. Looks like Bank of America has won a patent for a system of enterprises to store customers' crypto deposits, published by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office on November 13th. The patent was first filed actually in mid-June 2014, and it outlines the background to the invention by stating, quote, that it's as technology advances, financial transactions involving cryptocurrency have become more common, saying that for some enterprises, it may be desirable to aggregate cryptocurrency deposited by customers in an enterprise account. So basically, they're using that word soup to say they want to be a crypto custodian.
Hey, small win. That's all I got to say. That's a small win right there, definitely. Even though it's Bank of America, in 2014, they had an end-of-year report where they said crypto wouldn't go over $1 billion market cap, and they would have no custodial services linked to it because they don't have anything to do with cryptocurrency. So
at the same time, they're putting a patent out.
Yeah, boy, that's what I'm saying. 4 years later, here comes a patent because they. I keep telling people, I say, it doesn't matter what they say out of their mouth. They have no choice when it comes down to it long term, because they're not going to be around, you know, in the long term with the same way they do stuff. So they had to change at some point, and now we see it. This is great. I mean, I still remember reading that end of year report, and now looking at this, it's like they gave up. I mean, they kind of like, we got to do something. We can't let these other small companies get all of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Again,
every time I see patents in Bitcoin and blockchain, I just laugh.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's what I was about to say. To me, it's one of those things, Zay said it best, is disheartening because, again, Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, some of these other big companies who swore off Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I mean, literally, we're going to see it, I think, as early as Q1 next year, right after the holidays, Martin Luther King Day, everybody gets back. You're going to start seeing commercials, promotions, marketing, advertising, all coming from these banks and financial services saying, yeah, we've been on the Bitcoin and crypto train for the last 5-6 years all along.
Wait a minute.
We're licensed, quote unquote, regulated, quote unquote, custodials for your cryptocurrency. You can trust us. You can store with us. And literally, to the people who don't know that much about cryptocurrency, they're going to fall back into the same trap we just left.
Exactly. That's what I preach. Yeah, that's what I preach. Like, cryptos are supposed to eliminate them all together. You're supposed to be your own bank with cryptocurrencies. And I think, you know, they're going to get a lot of people. They're going to get a lot of people. And what can you do? We just got to continue to try to educate people about cryptocurrencies, the true meaning, the true reason for using them. And we will over time prevail, I think. So
I say that. And then I always say we need to throw in a tar and feather. Not every day, but, you know, once a quarter, a good tar and feather, I think will keep bankers and regulators in line. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
See somebody coming off the penthouse suite in Wall Street, and they get tagged with some molasses and little feathers. I think they'll start acting right. They don't want those $3,000 suits messed up.
Right.
Shout out to Jizzy Mac. He just said they're just going to find a way to charge fees off crypto. That's all they do is charge fees. We know. We already know this is how they made their money over the years. So
Captain James said BitMEX shutting down U.S. accounts. Bcash / Craig Wright mess. Those are the reasons why the price is lower. Another FUD. FUD's another opportunity to scale out weak hands in the sale. Exactly. The BitMEX thing, that kind of comes and goes. Again, some of these exchange owners are definitely playing their own pump and dump games as far as on their own exchange.
They are the market makers.
Right. They're the market makers. But you're right. I mean, all it takes is for a little bit of FUD and a slight dip to cause a large part of the market just to start selling. He said, Infinite Universe said, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Of course.
That's funny.
All right. Report. Google G Suite Twitter account compromised to promote 10,000 Bitcoin scam. Looks like the official Twitter account of Google's G Suite was reportedly compromised to report a Bitcoin giveaway scam, which we've already told you no one is giving away Bitcoins, especially not 10,000 Bitcoins worth. But it looks like the page has about 800,000 followers. Again, you can look at that G Suite tweet that got put out. Literally, they had a payment address where, of course, you have to send your Bitcoin first to get, you know, to verify your address. You have to send 0.1 to 0.2 Bitcoin to their address. And then you have a chance to get 1 to 20 Bitcoin back. Again, people, we like to keep an eye out for scams. And it's one of those things where you're not sending anybody 0.1 or 0.2 Bitcoin and getting 20 Bitcoin back.
Yeah. This is one of those scams.
Does the article mention how much they ended up getting?
Let me check.
Because I don't see.
Yeah, I didn't see how much anybody got, but I'm sure they made some money.
Yeah, I mean, these scams, they always get, in my opinion, two people. Either people too old to know what Bitcoin is and they just send it there, or people too young to remember Nigerian scammers. Because this is exactly what a Nigerian scam is. When you send me $10,000, I can unlock this 1 million and split it with you. It's like, dog, no. Same scam for 30 years since email came out. But,
so I don't think they got a lot. It looks like the message was only up for about 10 minutes before you know, it disappeared or they got rid of it. And Google didn't say anything about it. But one of the things that we really want to key on people, we always talk about security in space, hacks and all that. And of course, we tout G Suite because G Suite is really good. It's a really good service. Again, it's one of those things where if you get locked out your regular Google account, or if your regular Google account gets hacked, you have almost like a 1% chance to get that back because it's a free account. You can't call anybody, all that good stuff. But if you have a G Suite, you do have a person to call. They actually have a team that will go to work because you are a paying customer at Google and they don't like their customers to be messed with. But again, seeing this is it's scary because it's like, wow, if Google is getting hit, granted, it's probably just their API going into their Twitter account, but it's still, if a Google G Suite account is getting hit, hacked, that's a big deal. Who else can they get, you know?
Yeah. They can get anyone, man. And that's the thing with IT. and in that whole space, man, you've got infinite number of vector attacks toward you, and you can only protect yourself from so many. Yeah. So it's always going to happen, man. That's why, I really think people should stay away from a lot of those centralized cryptocurrency exchanges, because they're going to continue to get hacked. I don't care how good you are. I guarantee you it's going to get hacked.
Yeah. Or at least an attempt.
Point. Yeah.
They got social engineering attacks. They got plenty of ways to do it now.
Right.
And it's such a new market. It's very easy for people to slip in, people who are hackers or people who have, ill will towards companies right now, because everybody's hiring blockchain devs, security people. They just take what they can get. So you can slide somebody into a big company. They can lay dormant for a year, and then boom, they stick the flash drive in. Boom, ransomware. We got you.
Exactly.
I mean, people don't think about it like that, but
you have to think about it.
OPSEC wise, that is literally how people get in. Because most like hacks that happen to big companies, you can only do it if it's somebody on the inside somehow, whether they know it or they don't. That's really the only way. So yeah, you gotta watch out.
All right, another big story: Seagate to use IBM Hyperledger in bid to crack down on fake drives. Cryptoblood, take us away on this one. What's going on with this Seagate story and partnering with IBM?
Yeah, so I talked about this earlier today on my video, man, and it's just a good example of blockchain being used by corporations, by the private sector. And what I posed the question was, a lot of us are looking to see cryptocurrencies or blockchain really become adopted. What if it's through these types of scenarios where the private side, the corporate side starts to adopt these private blockchains? And that's where we see the mass adoption, and not the public ones that we all love, like EOS and Ethereum and Stellar and so on and so forth. Could that be the possibility? I actually think it is. I thought about it, and I'm like, we're probably going to see a lot of these companies using private blockchains to really leverage that whole concept and the power of blockchain. So good to see them doing that, though. You're going to see that more and more. I know in the wine industry, they're doing that. They're doing the little QR codes to help mitigate counterfeit wine as well. So yeah, you're going to see more and more of this.
Yeah.
And it's going to be similar to how intranets were, I think, as well, though. I think initially it might be appealing because, of course, everybody's going to, try to have their own token, like you said, their own blockchain privatized and all that. But I think all that's going to do is allow some of these new folks coming in to understand what blockchain technology is, and then finally understand, wait, why am I using this private intranet server when I can use the entire internet? Of course, I think they're going to try to continue to push this media storm where if you don't do things private, I think it might actually get to the point, which is going to be our next story, but I think it's going to get to the point where not only do you have privatized ones, but you're going to have eventually the United States government, Russia, all these people, they're going to back their coins. And then they're going to say, if you don't use these, it's illegal. It's not regulated. You can't buy gas, milk, water, essential needs, your essential needs without this government-sponsored regulated coin, which is probably owned by some bank or some private company somewhere. So I think, unfortunately, that's where we'll head to. I agree with you, but I'm hoping that once it happens, people start to realize, all right, I'm starting to learn the difference between this private and public one. Hopefully, they'll reel themselves off of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, with the cryptocurrencies, yeah, I think people will eventually come to the realization that using a public cryptocurrency blockchain like a Bitcoin or something like Litecoin or whatever you want to, whatever your flavor is, will eventually get to that. But I'm saying more so on the blockchain tech side. A lot of these companies are probably just going to utilize their own private blockchains for fraud mitigation and logistics, and there's so many applications for it. I think that's where you're going to see a lot of leveraging coming from the corporate side, from the private sector.
Yeah, I've always said with Bitcoin and blockchain technology in general, if it doesn't defeat companies altogether, it'll at least make them better companies. So in theory, if IBM can save money on counterfeiting, they can figure out a way for companies to get correct information without the hassle of having to go through all these different checkpoints. To me, it should be a cheaper service, and that saves money on the back end. So you're right, blockchain in the future, if it solves those problems on a private ledger, that's fine, because people should get cheaper goods. because it should be cheaper for people to do it and more efficient, so to say. So
yeah.
The Digital Reserve said, you know, a lot of people honestly don't see the value in many of the private blockchains. Why not just use a permission database?
Yeah.
Well,
I know why, because I mean, honestly, it's a buzzword and people want to test it out.
Blockchain stimulus package
is basically why
blockchain stimulus package. Yeah, that's
people
true.
throw it in there.
There are some benefits still if you roll out your nodes on your private ledger correctly. I think it is a little bit more.
That could work. You're talking about like something as big as a Google or Amazon and say, hey, every employee here is going to need to run a full node. Definitely, I can see that. That could definitely change the landscape as far as security for them.
Yeah. It's a little bit better.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, right
now.
All right. Next up, central bank digital currencies could have legitimate role, says IMF Lagarde. All right, we've talked about international monetary funds, basically CEO, but their managing director, Christine Lagarde, said that despite being not entirely convinced on the concept of cryptocurrencies more generally, there may be a case for states to issue government-backed tokens or similar assets. She's quoted as saying, I believe we should consider the possibility to issue digital currency. There may be a role for the state to supply money to the digital economy. Of course, she said this at an event she was speaking at a speech at Singapore FinTech Festival today, November 14th.
Every time.
We've talked about IMF Lagarde a few times. I think she split from being a dino of the day to like the savior all in the same week. She, like many others in these prominent roles, love to flip-flop. And as Bitcoins, they point out to me earlier, they only make these comments when they're at these big events. And we already saw reports that have come out saying that central bank digital currencies would not actually work because all it would do would fuel the acceleration of people using cryptocurrencies. And eventually they will want to use a regular decentralized crypto if we started to push central bank digital currencies onto people. But with all that being said, what's your thoughts on CBDCs? And, you know, do you see this coming in the future? Will it work? You know, IMF Lagarde, is she just flip-flopping just to get that, you know, that quote of the week? Or what's going on here?
It definitely is coming. I no lie. You got to. The reason is because the masses are ignorant to what real money, what sound money is. So we can't expect the masses to say, "Oh, this wonderful thing called Bitcoin has come into our lap, and we can take that on and become our own banks." No, it's not going to happen. They're going to fall for it. These sovereign countries, they're going to create their own cryptocurrencies, and it's just fiat. It's fiat. It's still fiat. They're still creating it out of nothing. It's just a crypto. So you're going to have fiat cryptocurrencies, and yeah, you'll have it. But again, thank God we have an option now, you know, with Bitcoin. So yeah, it's coming, man. I mean, Venezuela is already doing it.
Right.
You got a number of other countries that are looking into doing it, like Canada. They're
Turkey, Russia.
Yep.
Wow, man.
Yep. So
it's pretty interesting too that again, you know, they talk about CBDCs. Let's say they implement. Let's say the United States implement. How would it even work? Do you just say, well, now you have to use your fiat to buy the CBDCs? Fiat doesn't work anymore.
So they're going to use that. I think they're going to use it as a transition from the dollar that we have now that has lost 99% of its value since 1930 or something.
Say that again.
Yeah, it's going to they're going to use that to transition into the new dollar. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Jim Willie. He's been saying that that's going to be the case for maybe 5-6 years now. He calls it the Scheisse dollar. And that's we're gonna have two currencies for the U.S. One internally, domestically, and then one that will be abroad. And that's what I think they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Well, it was crazy because like they don't even have to do anything extra. It's literally just, you know, all your bank accounts just flip it over and say, all right, well, this is now called the dollar coin or whatever.
Well, it'll have a new peg value though.
Yeah,
to the old dollar, if that makes sense.
Right.
And then the new dollar will just over time go to 0 too.
Yeah. Well, somebody said the best. They're just trying to make derivatives on top of derivatives, on top of packages. So just like gold, where it turned out not only were you not buying gold after a while for a paper dollar that only actually signified your gold, they actually got rid of gold. Same thing's happening. They're saying, Well, you can't buy Bitcoin, but you can buy everything else around it that we keep creating out of thin air for you.
Yeah.
Well,
But they'll try to keep us. They'll try to keep us tame though, because they'll give incentives like to the masses that are on Medicaid or what do you call it, EBT cards and stuff. You only be able to get your EBT card if you're if it's funded through this new crypto fiat currency. So they'll have programs, and all the governmental programs will be only funded through that, and really keep the sheeple kind of in the loop.
Yeah,
and herd it in.
It's kind of like a China's social credit score.
There you go. Yeah,
they've already started it. They scan your face. I saw an article from one dude. He was saying, like, in theory, if they scanned your face and like you drink too much alcohol or something like that, you couldn't get a plane ticket or a bus ticket to travel anywhere. And then if you couldn't get that ticket, that would knock you more points, or you have to pay more money, stuff like that. And to get more money, you have to basically do illegal stuff, which would knock down your credit score. So it's one of those things where you can see it coming, in my opinion. Yeah. And unfortunately, there's nothing we can really do to stop it, unless we got a good army of people who are ready to tar and feather, as King says, and not just take it. I mean, most people just don't take it. Most of the Ned Flanders, as we call them.
So, in your opinion, how would that work? I mean, is there any recourse? Is there anything people can do if the government came out tomorrow and say, you know what, we're backing this Gemini stablecoin dollar as our primary measure of currency. Now we're going to start something new, a new CBDC. What can people do about, or if anything, if the government came out and said, this is the only one you're allowed to use, is the regulated one, you have to use this American coin CBDC. Is there any other recourse?
Every time y'all say CBDC, I think of CBD.
Yeah, that's what we say.
Somebody actually mentioned that in the comments.
But what we can do is just buy sound and safe money, sound assets, gold, precious metals, Bitcoin, those types of assets that are what we call deflationary. So that's what we can do. So
yeah,
if you get paid in the Chice dollar, just make sure you just stash a little bit away into some assets that are actually going to kind of go up in the future.
And shout out to Trek. He is on. I didn't know that was you, PFC Wells. He has said, "Holla, salute to you dudes for helping to police the community." For sure.
Yeah, Trek, that's my guy. He was out at World CryptoCon too.
I'm at World CryptoCon for sure. Jamari, excuse me if I mispronounced it. Jamari Peterson said the issue is transparency and the policy. There's definitely the privacy issue and overreach through the technology implementation. So that's kind of a big deal as well. When it comes to some of this regulation, some of this policy being set, I mean, they're literally making it how they made banks. They're saying, Coinbase is helping. You got Winklevoss twins or Gemini. They're helping to establish regulation, basically making it that if you can't buy this $1 million license and for all these lawyers and stuff, then you're not legally able to play this game.
Yeah.
Literally last year still had no barrier to entry. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. You again, on my show, I try to educate people and help them understand, because a lot of people have just gotten into the cryptos maybe 2 years ago. Majority of people I come across from my channel are, 2.5 years into this game, and they don't see the kind of crypto anarchist side of crypto, which was what the community was about back then. We were trying to get away from banks. We were trying to get away from their whole system. So we didn't want anything to do with taxes and banks, none of that stuff.
Yeah, the reason I know it didn't work is because Coinbase is still around. Because I remember back then, early crypto anarchists, they were ready to burn down Coinbase and Brian Armstrong.
Right.
It's like, we don't need this at all.
Yeah. And so they're infiltrating the crypto space every week. And you just got to keep educating people. But again, the great thing about crypto is you can hold it in your own hand. Like Bitcoin, you can hold in your own hand. You have your Trezor or whatever hardware wallet you want to use. You can hold it. Nobody can confiscate it. If they don't know that private key, they can't get to it. You can even have a brain wallet. Andreas Antonopoulos used to talk about brain wallets. If you know how to store your private key in your head and you use a seed phrase, man, you're good. But we have to educate people and let them understand the leverage and power in Bitcoin and crypto.
All right. So before we let you go for a few minutes, let's go ahead and pick your brain for some of our viewers here.
Yeah.
Biggest thing to look out for next year, not necessarily coin, but what's going to happen next year? One thing we tell people coming to this year, like nonstop, we were saying this is going to be the year of regulations. Bitcoin Zay was saying this is the year you got to pick a side, either going with the government doing the right thing, quote unquote, by their words, or striking on your own and figuring it out. So what's 2019?
2019 is institutional money.
So you think that's finally going to happen for certain?
Yeah, 2017 was dumb money coming in. You know, everybody and their mama, they barber, they wig, weave person. Everybody was getting into Bitcoin.
Uber drivers giving advice.
Right. I'm in the Uber. You know, Cass giving me advice about Bitcoin. I'm just sitting back like, I'm an OG in this game. We talking about, boy.
Nice.
But 17 was dumb money. Smart money is 19, and you will see an increase in a lot of these assets, these crypto assets for sure.
So I know you talked to him too at World CryptoCon, but we had Ronnie Moas on briefly for a quick interview the other day.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I got some comments about that.
Yeah, we all did. But going into what was he say? Oh, he said, you know, by the end of 2019, I believe he said his price prediction was at 28,000. You know, on stage at Real CryptoCon, him and Vinny had that $20,000 bet for charity. Right. Vinny doesn't think it's going to hit that high. Of course, he's a contra indicator, so we love hearing him say that. But as far as pricing, do you think that $28,000 price range is realistic next year, in the next year, or
by the end of next year? Yeah, I can see that. Absolutely.
You think it'd be just around there, or you think it might reach higher?
No, I think it'd be shy. I think we'll try to test all-time high. So like 20,000, 22,000. This is a gut feeling. Nobody knows. Right. I don't know how Ronnie came to that conclusion, but you know, nobody really knows. So you can just kind of throw out your ideas. I think 22,000, 23,000, somewhere around there.
36,000.
There we go.
Let's keep going. 58,000. Who cares?
Well, I will say one of the things, you know, I think is lost in the sauce so much because a lot of people came in. A lot of people who are here now came in at the top in December. So I don't think people realize the transition from $1,000 to $20,000 or $19,700 throughout 2017. But I'm not sure what your prediction was, but I remember beginning of January 2017. I feel like the most part for the community, I know us over here, we were thinking it was going to be a $5,000 high on the year.
Yes, my prediction was 10K.
Okay, so you had a little bit, but still, you had that 10K.
So I was when we blew past 10K and went to 13, then we paused for a minute and then went all the way to 19. I was in disbelief. I said, I've never seen anything like this in crypto in my life.
I was telling the chart for 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was telling people though, like just sail into the rally. And people that follow me know I've been saying that since that rally. And hope people took that into mind because you don't know where the tops are. I thought the top was 10,000. It wasn't. It went further. And yeah, that's where we are. So
yeah, that's what I was going to hit on. That's what really threw off personally me from kind of trying to predict, because after that, I mean, it's just, what can you say?
Yeah,
I mean, even right now they're saying we're at this 12-month low. But we're still higher. I was actually about to say it might be a little bit lower than what we were 12 months ago. I mean,
listen, Bitcoin. I hate to see these pundits on CNBC talking about how Bitcoin is down. I used to look when I got into Bitcoin, they literally were calling it a scam on CNBC. They were literally saying it was every time it had a correction, it died. They said it got hacked. They were just doing all this dis and misinformation out there, and I would just shake my head because I knew the truth, but yeah, dude, Bitcoin cryptocurrency is going to be still the most it's the outperforming asset that we've seen in decades.
Right.
I don't see anything else, any other asset class outperforming cryptocurrencies. So
all right. So Jason M said, what percentage do you guys have invested in Bitcoin versus altcoins? We'll let Cryptoblood take real quick. I know Ronnie Moas, his thing was 60, 30, 10. He says 60% in Bitcoin for him, 30% in like some of your top 40 altcoins. He said he would even go to top 40, top 20, top 40 altcoins. And he said, of course, 10% basically on the dumpster diving. types. What are yours, Cryptoblood? How do you kind of?
Yeah, I would say I'm about 25% Bitcoin. All the rest alts and tokens.
I'm kind of with you on that. I like that because, you know, what was it, Verge last year? Of course, we know what ended up happening to it, but I think over the course of the year, it hit almost 1,000,000%.
Oh no, I mean the altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Bitcoin is just going to be the more stable asset over time. You track it out over time. But if you want to get a nice acceleration of growth and wealth, the altcoins will be the play to go with in 2019. Now, I think Bitcoin will move first in 19. Then this is what I've just seen in the past years that I've been in crypto. Bitcoin will move first. Then people move some of their profits out of Bitcoin into the altcoins, spill over there, and then the altcoins will take off and really pass Bitcoin percentage gain wise.
And honestly, for some of the people who do hold some of these altcoins, I mean, if you got your sell orders placed, who knows when the next pump and dump's gonna happen? Because I remember summer 2017, it was pump and dumps left and right.
Oh,
so
man.
all you gotta do is sit on some coins and have a sell order at like 100%, 80% or whatever, and you are guaranteed almost throughout like a 3-week period, one of those coins is gonna get called on. Because I mean,
actually 17. I kind of hated 17 because I'm a trader and I know how much of a blessing it is to get a 2x, right? I'm seeing cats in 2017 complaining about 5x.
All right, that's our lab.
Only 500.
I'm like, nigga, are you serious, dude? Like, really?
How long you got to wait for
Listen,
that?
for some of these groups, if it wasn't at least 200%, people were tuning out. They was like, "What are you talking about? Like, this not even a 200%."
I knew it was a very toxic environment in 2017 that we ended up with, and it had like the universe has to correct, and it corrected, and now a lot of the craziness is kind of out the space. We'll get more mature traders and individuals in the space, so it's all good.
So here's
I'm glad we got them out.
I know,
Let
right?
them go. I mean, honestly, this last year has been fun seeing people leave. Yeah. YouTube influencers, journalists been leaving. Yep. Traders stop trading. Miners stop mining. Good, leave. I mean, we can clean y'all out.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what we were kind of talking earlier. It was like, you know what? You know, because people even said, someone said just now on our chat, they said they didn't get the notification what's going on, because we're pretty sure we've been like, you know.
Oh, I know I have.
Right, of course.
Yeah, I know on YouTube I get they throttle me all day.
All right, so it's one of those things also where they can try to do it, but especially next year when it comes around institutional money, as you talked about. At the end of the day, people are going to look at who knows what they're talking about. Point blank, period. Who know what they're talking about? So it's going to be one of those things where they start looking at videos and when people popped up and how they disappeared for an entire year and then came back when the bull market started. Yeah. I mean, I literally just saw a spam comment from James Alltoucher. We haven't seen a spam comment from him, I think, in almost 10 or 11 months since December or January of last year, this year. So it's pretty funny seeing that spam. I'm like, all right, that might be a good indicator on the market.
Yeah, you got a lot of these YouTube cats, man. There's something else, man. Even at the conference, you know, I'm talking to different people. These cats don't know much of anything.
Right. Speaking of conference, what were your thoughts? You know, your brief thoughts on Real CryptoCon.
At first, I gave it an A. I heard you guys give it a B.
It was an 8 out of 10. Is that
8 out of 10? Yeah.
8 out of 10 a B. I'm gonna have to revise mine to an 8 out of 10 myself. Yeah. 8 out of 10.
We're gonna do a more in-depth one as well. Coming, we'll probably push it out this week. But you know, real quick, what did you like? What didn't you like?
What I liked was the stage. You know, the Aria Hotel, great venue, great hotel. I enjoyed myself. That's my first time being there. I'll definitely be back. And I just think it was a huge event, and he pulled it off for the first year. He pulled it off pretty nicely. I'm not going to lie. There was some hiccups, of course, but that's to be expected. But I think overall it was pretty good. The vibe was pretty good. Yeah.
I think people wanted it to be worse than it was because of maybe they got slighted on something or they didn't know. And honestly, I was looking around. I was like, why is everybody complaining on their phone? They're standing in the same place we are. I'm like, what are y'all complaining about? It's free food. You got art. You got speakers all day. You got the Aria Hotel itself. You're in Vegas. What are we complaining about? And most people, I think, was just superficial stuff. People who wasn't
that third floor, the fourth floor, all the way up though. That was a scam room right there. You guys,
oh man. Yeah, so
when you see the Lambos parked, then you know they luring you in.
So what Cryptoblood's talking about on like the third or fourth, the top floor of the convention, there probably was 2 or 3 Lambos with all the models and bikinis and pictures going up elevators. And as you said, when you start seeing Lambos around, especially in the bear market right now,
come on, right?
I thought that was I think that I get it because it works as far as marketing, but that wasn't done tastefully. You could tell they're not entrenched in the community for them to do that. Because you're out here with Lambos and models right now.
Man,
we're 11 months into a bear market.
The doors don't even lift up, bro. Y'all got the doors that open out regularly.
I was about to carjack them, but now
cool work said scam room. LOL. PFC Wells said we're gonna have to talk about Road CryptoCon. It depends on which side you're on. That is true.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you get free food. You get to meet all the people on Twitter in their face. You get to see their face. That's me. And then the location. We're in the area. That's a good.
I'm gonna give it a B. There's some internal things that I heard about that happened and so on and so forth. I
wasn't sure when I got there because some of the internal planning. And I was like, we're ready for anything. We're ready to have a good time at Road CryptoCon, but we are also ready to possibly just stay in Vegas for a couple of days and not get nothing done and make a U-turn. So we weren't sure.
Right. Yeah. So I saw you guys at the Jewel Club. King, I saw you. Zay, you were there too, right?
Yeah.
I saw y'all there. I'm not a club goer, so I was just kind of in there, but it was cool.
What night was that? Was that Friday? I think that's the club I got kicked out of.
Too funny.
What happened?
Long story, but like I said, I had fun at the conference. So
we'll talk about clubs offline one day.
Yeah.
But no, it was a good time, people. All right, and then you got any questions for Cryptoblood?
Oh no, we covered it all, man. We definitely gonna get on another show with some more stuff
for sure. All right, I want to get if you all have any questions for Cryptoblood, throw them out right now so we can
ask me questions, people.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pop over to
here. I actually want to. You don't have to be specific because when we talk coins, sometimes we just talk about what they actually do, what you need to look for. But what type of coins interest you? You can say the name, or you can just say the exact type as far as what they do. But what are you interested in? I heard you talk about EOS already, Ethereum.
Yeah, that's my that's the squad. EOS. We got EOS Detroit here. The EOS community, the block producers. Very strong community. I like to see that. Just connecting with all of them around the country and globe. I know some cats from Israel, EOS Israel, from EOS Tribe down in Dallas. Like I said, EOS Detroit. So I like the community. The platform is superior to Ethereum, and I think they have the correct business model where the end user doesn't pay anything for transactions, and we leave that cost to the developer for staking the coin. So I think that's the proper model to have if you want to have a scalable Gen 3 blockchain. So pretty much any of the Gen 3 blockchains I'm in support of, Tron, Stellar, EOS.
Oh, well, I got a couple quick questions now. So first, Captain James said Tron. So you heard that, Captain James. So with Tron and EOS, what do you think about some of the issues they've been having in the news? Of course, every new coin and project has them, but EOS, they couldn't launch on time, and they did a couple of days later. It was kind of half done. Same with Tron. Tron was having some internal issues as far as was this is a media marketing campaign? Do we have a real product that's going to do some make some noise? What makes you still believe in those?
I mean, the performance. Like EOS has the second or third most activity on the blockchain out of all the cryptocurrencies and blockchains out there. So Dan Limmer, who's behind it, has the top 3 are the most active blockchains in the game. You've got Steam, you've got their BitShares, and then you've got EOS. So he knows what he's doing. He knows how to build scalable blockchains. So that's kind of the primary reason for EOS. And you're gonna have hiccups with these rollouts. That's fine. I don't see an issue with that. They're going to get stronger as they roll out. See, people forget Bitcoin when it rolled out had a huge bug that occurred in the early days that almost like wiped the whole thing out. You know, it lost 90%, 80, like 95% of its value from this bug that caused huge double spins and stuff. So it's just normal. It's, you know.
Shadow Fresh said, "Why do you believe in Roger Ver? Do you believe in Roger Ver?"
No, I don't believe in Roger.
I don't think any of us here believe in Roger Ver.
Yeah, I'm good.
No, I think the way he approaches branding Bitcoin Cash is combative and stupid. And I couldn't probably never interview him because we end up getting in a fight or something. Because I mean, the way he talks to you, it's just not productive at all. It's counterproductive. But Bitcoin, I believe in allowing the market to allow the best coin to win, and that's what's going to happen. So it doesn't matter what I feel about Roger Ver. The market will pick which coins are going to be successful. Yeah. I don't think Bitcoin Cash is going anywhere. It's on Coinbase.
Right.
So that's one thing.
We said the same. We like let the market decide.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, speaking of Coinbase, what are your thoughts on Coinbase in general? You know, we had this question the day before because we give out you know, free Satoshis or some of our brand ambassadors were tokens for. But one of the things with Coinbase was that it was this double-sided argument where like, hey, this actually is good for community because at least we have someone trying to serve as a crypto bank to bridge that gap as far as adoption and bringing people along, but also it's Coinbase, and we know
I know, like it is a double-edged sword, but at the end of the day, Coinbase is helping our parents, right, our grandparents be able to get into crypto. They've done an excellent job on the UX in their platforms. Their user experience is spot on, and I think it's simple enough. Yeah, to let the average person kind of pick up and get their coin. So it's cool. I think it's good. It's going to help adoption. People got to realize like we're still early in the game, and it's still hard for people to understand how to use cryptocurrencies. They got these long ass addresses, and you know, and so it's just I think it's good overall. I don't personally like it, but
nice. And then a couple more ICOs. What are some of the things you look at when you hear the word ICO?
That game is probably over,
right? At least for the next 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, that game is over, especially for people in the US, companies trying to do ICOs in the US. That game is done. The next game is STOs, which are like issues of stock. Okay, so I think that's the new wave that will become very popular in the US and abroad as well, because I think it's more equitable of a position for an individual who's investing anyway, because they're getting actual equity into the company, and they get voting rights. It's basically like a stock, right? So you actually have some say and some stake in the company. So I think SCOs are more equitable. The only problem I have is that I know how the SEC and all of them going to do. They're going to make you be a qualified institutional investor, and you got to make what, $250,000 a year?
Yeah, you have to make worth of $1 million a year, or have $1 million net worth in assets. I don't think that even includes your home.
Your house. It does not include your house. So that's my problem. That's the issue I have. Those terms need to change, at least for cryptocurrencies. But yeah, that's what I think about ICOs.
Yeah, and I do want to say the accredited investor term, like you said, for cryptocurrencies, in order to invest in cryptocurrencies, I think the term accredited investor either has to go away or they have to change the standards for it, because honestly, an accredited crypto investor should be anybody with money. I mean, if anybody can be, if it's a free open market, anybody with money is a accredited investor.
I brought up the idea they need to have a crypto investor certificate or something like that, a license, right? You take a test, you understand XYZ about cryptos, blockchain, and then you get a license to invest.
Yeah,
but they're not going to do that.
When we talk to folks from the SEC, I've actually talked to the one of the state legislators, as well as the lawyer, one of the main lawyers here in the state of California, about this years ago. We were trying to get some things started, and basically the clear guidance from the SEC is no retail investors. I mean, that's one of the things we tell people. They're like, they don't want poor people, mom and pops, to have crypto. They want, if you're wealthy, cool, you can play. But one of the questions I asked them was literally, I just got this like long hesitation and a laugh, and they was like, "This is the rules." I said, "So you're telling me if someone like Paris Hilton, who not saying she hasn't worked on her own or whatever, but clearly she was given money from birth, right? I was like, so you have someone who's Paris Hilton, who's an accredited investor by the time she's 2, right? Or whatever. You know, she's 18 years old. She's an accredited investor one day. You're telling me that a guy who went out and or you know, man or woman went out and worked or invested on their own and made $900,000 on their own from investing still doesn't qualify as an accredited investor, but Paris Hilton or someone like her born with that silver spoon is now an investor because they have it.
That was a good question. Yeah, that was a good question. I'm sure you froze him up like an Allen Iverson crossover.
Oh man, it was terrible.
Yeah, but that's a good question.
Yeah, so it was just one of the things they just laughed about, and they were just like, "Hey,
man, they don't, man, they don't. They literally don't. Everyone should understand that. They say protect the invest. You don't protect us from playing the lotto every day or going to the casino every day. So, man, that's that. Yeah. Anyway,
right. Let's see. We had another couple more questions from you. Infinite Universe. I'm looking for what he asked. Do you think Monero is similar to Bitcoin, whereas essentially it has no cap in its value?
No cap in its value? What does he mean by that? I'm not sure what he means by that.
I'm assuming as far as how high it could possibly go. That's what I'm thinking. And so, yes, if it wins out for me personally between that and
you know, I guess. But I like privacy coins, but they're going to be heavily targeted. So if you have any privacy coins, you know, you're going to be watched closely at the exits, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like privacy coins.
And I know you went to we didn't get a chance to go to this room. We got the little invite, but I know Reggie Middleton had the Veritasium basically like a meeting and his suite.
Fireside chat.
But fireside chat. But Gervais Wright is asking, what are your thoughts on Veritasium?
Man, why people keep asking me about Very?
Yeah, so we actually covered it when it first came out, and
it's been around.
Yeah, that's what Zay. I think Zay or you told me that. You know, King, you told me that. You had your subs make a lot of money on that one. I think I've talked to him and his crew in detail about what they're doing. They're going to have to see a little bit more success, or they're going to see more success outside the States. It ain't gonna happen here in the United States. Flat out. So the thing with Veritasium, though, is what I always reiterate, people are so excited about holding Veri tokens. I don't think the value is in Veri tokens. I think it will be maybe in the Veri assets, they got like Veri Gold and they got different tokens on the platform. I think that's where the value will be, not the Veri token. A Veri token is just it's like to pay for the service. So I think it's overvalued right now.
All right. Yeah, like most tokens, way overvalued.
And we'll do all right, we're coming up here almost an hour, so we'll do a couple last quick questions. We're not gonna get specific coins. We're starting to get specific coins now. You know, do that all day. But
you gotta pay to play.
Right, exactly. So and we'll of course let you shout everything out in a moment. But shout out to Malik Howard, who's here. He's one of our crypto warriors. I think he watches you as well. He's been around for a while. Malik said, do you think USD and the economic fall will happen before or after the halving of Bitcoin? I personally think it's going to happen before, because I think in 2016 we said it would be about 18 to 24 months out. So we are literally coming to the close of our prediction as far as when we thought the economic collapse was happening. But of course, the debt ceiling has been pushed and pushed and pushed past its date. I think we're literally a year over addressing the debt ceiling. They said they
still haven't talked about it.
Yeah, we might do it at the end of this year. Now we're probably gonna do it Q1 of next year. But this is the longest we've been in the bull run in US history traditionally, as far as this 10-year span we're going on now. So I think it'll happen before the halving. But Cryptoblood, what's your thoughts?
Bitcoin's halving is in 2020.
Yes.
2020 is going to be it may be right around that time.
So you think it's going to happen then?
There are so many
that the economic collapse is not coming. They think the U.S. is going to lower the interest rates every time it happens, and keep pushing, keep kicking the can.
They're going to try. Absolutely, they're going to move the goalposts. Absolutely, that's what they do. They always move the goalposts, change the rules. They do all that stuff. So they're going to do something. But I think this time, whatever they do will have an ever smaller effect on the upside for it. So every time they do a manipulation of something, they do QE or lower, you know, whatever they want to do, buy mortgages back, whatever. It has a smaller impact on the whole economy, or the stock market really is what they care about. They don't care about the economy. They just care about the stock market. But yeah, I see it happening. There's a lot of moving variables. You know, I kind of started my journey in alt media and researching financial collapse after 2008. That's when I kind of really dug into this whole game, man. And
yeah,
it's a rabbit hole I went down. And I definitely look at money and monetary policy and all that differently now. So, but long story short, yeah, I think 2020, that's a good time.
All right. And all right, I keep saying this, but these are really the last two questions. All right, first one, what are your thoughts on DEXs upcoming into, you know, in this year going into 2019? And do you have a DEX that you think people should use or kind of look at? And then the second question will kind of be about worst case scenario. What do you think would happen if all these retail investors, the middle class investors, and folks like, you know, even wealthy folks like Gemini twins who make a lot of money in the crypto market, who stop listening to U.S. government and regulators because they have so much money? What do you think will happen next?
No, so they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that.
Exactly.
I'm going to answer that last one first.
Okay, go ahead.
They ain't giving up that man.
So the governments will just they'll put you in jail. They'll threaten you. They'll see.
We always say as well. I was like, you better have a militia army ready.
Right.
You about to walk away with a lot of money.
No, that's not going to happen, man. So that's not going to happen. So for the other question about DEXs, I think Binance DEX is going to be promising. I've been telling my subs to buy Binance coin for some time now. So that's been doing very well. You'll be able to use the Binance token on there as well. But yeah, you know, looking at DEXs, you know, I don't know if you guys covered this, but the Ether Delta whole situation, right?
Yeah,
that
we covered it.
Yeah. That puts a new light on what decentralized exchanges are, because most aren't truly decentralized. They're a decentralized exchange run by a centralized entity. So there's still always that issue there. So I think having an autonomous run organization that has this DEX is going to be the future. I don't know when it's going to happen, but
yeah, that's our thoughts on it. We say, especially when it comes to ICOs, DEXs, wherever, if the U.S. has someone they can put in jail and target, they're going for it. So
even if it's a server, whoever bought the server,
right?
With us.
It literally has, like you said, it has to be autonomous and decentralized. Of course, we have some time before that gets there, but and it literally has to be decentralized as possible to where no one. It has to be like Bitcoin, because Bitcoin. That's if they could send somebody to jail, make an example of them for Bitcoin.
They need to send Craig Wright and Roger Ver in. Go ahead. And send them.
They sent Ross Albright and Charlie Sheen.
Right.
And these are the people that need to be out.
Right.
Exactly.
Speaking of Ross Albright, we'll be having his mother on here soon as well to interview her about the case. They just passed 100,000 digital signatures, so I'm gonna try to get her on so we can help get that pushed to 150,000, because that's what they're trying to get so that he can get clemency. So we'll see what happens to that.
Nice.
All right. And before we leave, first of all, I wanted to say thanks for you being here. You are literally the longest guest we have ever had on this show.
I told you.
Shout out
to Cryptoblood.
And one, you know, I want to highlight, this is why we like doing it live, because you can see who knows what's going on. They have the information. They're actually in the community. As you see, Cryptoblood, you haven't seen him look at notes, bring out laptops on that. I mean, this guy's coming out the top of the head. He knows what he's talking about. So Cryptoblood, go ahead and tell everybody where they can follow you at and find you at.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Cryptoblood _. YouTube, just type in Cryptoblood, and check out my website, cryptoblood.io. I just rolled out the BitMEX algo 2-3 days ago, so that's doing well. Yeah, that's it, man.
There we go, man. Well, I appreciate you being here. As always, if you're listening, you can hear us on iTunes Podcast, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, as well as YouTube. Cryptoblood, we're going to be doing a show with him, hopefully in December. And of course, we're definitely going to have him back. Everybody's loving you right now.
Absolutely.
On our channel, everybody's saying great show. It's one of the best yet. So we'll definitely have you
do this again, fellas. Have you on. When we get off air, we'll sync that up and schedule what day to come on my show. But yeah, I love it, man. Good vibes. I'm all about building with cats with good vibes. So
for For sure. Well, hey, thanks for being here, brother. And you know, you can stay on once we close this broadcast off, so we can chat for a quick second. But hey, make sure you all go if you haven't done it already. And then for those listening, I know some people listen the next day and drive to work. Make sure you check out Cryptoblood, subscribe. He has a really good channel. I know some people say our shows are too short, so he goes in depth. I think I just saw a recent show he did about 1 hour and 50 minutes. He's interviewed Cliff High before. If you don't know, if you don't know who Cliff High is, people, you are missing out here in the crypto community. Cryptoblood does it all, folks. He does it all, and he's really good at what he does. He's been around for a long time, so we highly suggest you use him as another resource. And of course, that's right, Captain James. He's from the D, another fellow Detroiter, so you know we support him. For those who don't know what that is, shout out to Blade Icewood, ruler of the Great Lakes. Great Lakes ruler, baby. Hey, it's always funny because people's like, we didn't know you had this side, King. No. Yeah, right. Was it you? It was you better recognize. Somebody came on the show the other day, and because I said I was from the east side originally. They said, we know you're from the, you don't seem like you're from the east side. Like, well, that's because I'm really good at what I do. Right. We can be from the D and have some sense, people. Exactly. You know how it is. So anyway, folks, as always, thanks for listening, and thanks for joining us in. Make sure you smash that like and share button. Yeah, smash that like, people. Smash that like and share. Also, make sure you download the Brave browser, KRBE. Make sure we put the link in all the videos. Download the Brave browser. Glad to be a part of their publishers, attention token back, all that stuff. So yeah, definitely smash that like. All right. As always, people, we will see you all tomorrow at 10ish. Oh yeah. Holla. Cheers.